Thank you for joining me today in Limo Care Driver Education. One of the biggest things we look at as we're moving forward with driver education is attitudes. We see so many attitudes out on the roads today, not necessarily from our employees, but from other people. And those other people can affect you. We ask also that you kind of check your attitudes at the door when you come in. We see people who have had problems at home or at school or on their drive-in or whatever, and we ask you to please leave those at the door so that when you climb into your vehicle, you are completing the task that we need you to do. Stadium Medical, our company, your company, expect high standards of performance, including safe driving. Your company expects not just safe driving performance, but award-winning safety performance. Why? Because it's possible, cost-effective, and it is the right thing to do. My name is Bob. I'm the education coordinator here at Stadium Medical. We're going to cover several topics today. 15 driver safety topics, some driver points of information, and as I said at the beginning, attitude. Driving can lead to a false sense of security. You take most risks for granted. Driving becomes a second nature. Motor vehicle accidents are the single largest cause of accidental death, leading cause of on-the-job fatalities. Why driver training? Driving is something we do daily. It's the most dangerous thing we do. 40,000 people die each year across the nation. 150 people who leave home today will never return. Do all vehicles handle and operate the same? Absolutely not. Each vehicle and type of vehicle has its own handling characteristics. Drivers will be trained on the vehicles that they operate, following the same driving rules on and off site. This is our largest vehicle that we have in the Limo Care fleet. Some of the things you have to be aware of with this is, number one, you've got a real long wheelbase. It is a rear-wheel drive vehicle, and all of the weight distribution is towards the passenger side, being where the lift is at. So remember that is where your center of gravity is. So you've got a higher center of gravity than you do in one of the smaller vehicles. This is one of our Sienna vans. This is much smaller. Loads from the rear. Much lighter in weight. Easier to maneuver. Again, just being aware of the different sizes of vehicles and how they differ. Why do we have accidents? Most frequent cause of accidents, inattention to detail. We're speeding, DWI, DUIs, driving too fast for conditions, failed to yield. Let's talk about each one of these. Inattention to detail. What does that mean? It simply means that we are not paying attention to the job at task. We're off in la la land, or we're paying attention to our cell phone, or we're looking out the windows at the scenery. We're just not paying attention to what we're doing. Speeding kind of speaks for itself. DWI, DUI, thankfully I've not seen a case of that here at Stadium Medical. We have seen driving too fast for conditions. What does that mean? You got a snowstorm, you're traveling, you've been traveling on a road that you've been able to do 55 miles an hour on for weeks and months, and all of a sudden now it's covered with snow, and you've got to slow down. And if you're going too fast for those conditions, that is icing up, you're getting ice on the roads, then you lose control of your vehicle. You will be ticketed, and it is a cause for accidents. And then failure to yield, not yielding at the stop signs, not yielding at the traffic lights, not yielding at the yield signs, not paying attention to what we're doing. Here's one of the places we frequent often. It's Western Hills at 1625 Carr. You notice the yellow pole across the top It is there for a reason. When you stop and look at this, do you feel that the larger van or any of the vans will fit under this? As you can see from this picture, our vans are not going to fit under here. You can see Megan standing here touching that pole, and she is standing flat-footed. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of the heights. Be aware of the width of your vehicles. Remember, you are driving a billboard also. Some of the other factors we have to consider are road conditions, weather-related and physical conditions, vehicle maintenance, tire, tread wear, pressure, brakes. This picture is from the corner of Canosa and 7th Avenue. If you look carefully across the corner, there is a fire hydrant there. Doesn't seem like it's very deep at this point. However, when you look at the arrows, you'll notice that this is a semi coming through. The arrow on the left that's pointing sideways is pointing to the bumper of the semi-truck, and the arrow on the right is showing the wave that semi's pushing as it's going through that intersection. Also, if you look a little further to the right, that's a Dodge pickup, and that splash is coming off of that wave, and it actually covers the whole vehicle. Some of the other things that we must watch out for are pedestrians. Remember that pedestrians do have the right of way. You have to watch out for children. They have a tendency just to dart out into the street. Animals come from all directions, all times of the day. Being very aware of the fact that your wild animals you'll find along the edges of roads in the early evening hours. Bad drivers, that's another thing that we have to deal with on a daily basis. We see it every day. They don't have their turn signals on. They're darting in and out of traffic. We have to be on the lookout for that. We have to be aware that we protect ourselves and our patients. And trucks, they're going to be around a long time, and they do add problems. As we look at this picture, I want you to pay attention to where the arrow is pointing. That's a flag person standing there. And remember that they do control the highway or the street or the intersection. They control it. Running a stop sign in front of them, running past them without following their directions can lead to a ticket. Sometimes we'll come across work zones that aren't marked. We have to be alert to that. Other areas, they set cones up for miles before we ever see the true people working. Again, this is for their safety and ours. We have to be aware of these, and we have to drive accordingly. Driving tips to live by. Treat all unmarked intersections as four-way stops. Some traffic lights may not be working. Again, four-way stops. Signs may be missing. More tips to live by. Slow down. Wear your seatbelt. Expect delays and avoid distractions. Some of the other things that we face on a daily basis are oversized vehicles, mobile homes, and heavy equipment. When you get behind one of these, you can't see what's going to happen. You need to increase your following distance. Realize that when you are involved in an accident, you not only have the physical damage to your vehicle, you have property damage to the other person's vehicle. You may have medical costs, yours and passengers, liability costs, other vehicles, physical damage, and other injuries. So how do we do this? The defensive driver prepares before getting behind the wheel. You ensure all passengers use safety belts. You obey speed limits. You consider all weather conditions. So let's talk about some safety tips. We're going to talk about quick check step process, defensive driving techniques, rules of the road, general safety rules. Let's talk about a pre-trip inspection. Take a walk around your vehicle. Are your windows clean? Lights and signals clean and working order. Tires properly inflated. What's the tread wear look like? Fluid leaks on the ground. Plates current? Yes or no? Any other issues you need to document? Is there any previous damage done to the vehicle that you haven't seen before? In the next few slides, we're going to take a walk around a vehicle. I want you to pay attention to certain things here. And on this slide, do you see an issue or a potential problem? You see an issue here. Understand that, again, you're driving a billboard. You can see the phone number on the back of this vehicle. And where is the ramp placed? It's laying right across sidewalk where people can walk. This could be a liability if somebody is walking across that, trips over that. All right, once you get inside the vehicle, adjust your seat, fasten your seatbelt, check and adjust all mirrors, adjust your headrest, assure doors fully closed and secured. Scan your gauges. Make sure you don't have engine lights on, any error lights in the ignition system or in the engine system itself. Just continuing. Make sure you check your windows, your windshields, adjust the vents, windows, heater, air conditioning. Make sure you are emotionally ready to focus on driving. Your state of mind, mental state. How's your stresses? How's your emotions? How are your attitudes for the day? Are you tired? Are you fatigued? Do you have some drowsiness? Are you having some vision problems? How's your hearing? Have you been drinking? What is the policy at Stadium Medical for drinking? No alcohol within 8 hours of the start of your shift. Getting the big picture. Scan the road ahead. City, approximately 1 block. Rural, approximately 1/4 of a mile. Keep your eyes moving. Check your mirrors every 5 seconds. We kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but following distances, speed and stopping distances are key. And if you're in the big vans, you're going to have a longer stopping distance. If you're in the smaller vans, it's a little shorter. The faster you go, the longer it takes. Stay 3 to 4 seconds behind. If you've got a big truck in front of you, give a little more time. Tailgaters, just avoid the quick changes and increase your following distance. Don't speed up, avoid tricks, and control your emotions. Lane changes. Make sure there's enough room. Signal your intention. Check your blind spot and space again. Make the lane change. How do you check your blind spot and space again? Simply lean forward, look in the mirror. Just remember, we don't want to drive in someone else's spot. Make yourself as visible as possible at all times. Line markings, yellow lines, traffic in both directions. White lines, one-way traffic. Broken, passing allowed. Solid, no passing. What do the colors mean on the signs? Regulatory, red and white. Warning signs, yellow and black. Construction, orange. Guide signs, blue, black, green. The right-of-way. At an intersection, vehicle on the right has the right to go first. Always be aware of pedestrians and school crossings. Scan the intersection. Stop at the limit line. Remember, no one is guaranteed the right-of-way. Backing is one of the accidents that's 100% preventable. How do we do that? Look at your path. Back slowly. Back to the driver's side when possible. Always use a helper when possible. That's the company policy. Railroad crossing. Crossbuck is found at most public crossings. Those are the cross signs. The signs should be treated in the same manner as a yield sign. When encountering an emergency vehicle, immediately move to the right. Move to another lane or to the shoulder if possible. If moving right is not possible, stay where you are. Do not move to the left. As driving conditions change, you must also change. Nighttime driving. Time change causes drivers to leave work after dark. Work zone areas still in effect until dusk. Fog and smoke from burning debris can cause limited visibility. When considering weather driving, we need to identify slippery surfaces. Shaded areas. Shady parts of the road will remain icy and slippery after open areas have melted. Bridges. Bridges freeze before roads do. Melting ice. Slight melting will make ice wet and more slick. Black ice if the temperature is below freezing and the road looks wet. Vehicle ice. Open the windows and feel the front of the mirror and the antenna. If it's got ice on it, the road is icing up. When we talk about weather driving, the most dangerous time of driving in a rainstorm is just after it begins. The oil mixes with water and makes the road very slippery. If you ever experience hydroplaning, remember to release the accelerator. Do not brake. And it can occur at speeds as low as 30 miles per hour. And it really can also be dependent on how your treads on your tire are and what your tire pressure is. When we talk about winter driving, some of the equipment supplies that you should have on your vehicle: a scraper with a brush on one end, a flashlight, some abrasive materials such as cat litter, sand, salt, jumper cables, warning devices, and some high energy food with you at all times in the event that you do get stuck and it takes us some time to get you out. Trick of the trade: getting unstuck in snow. Turn your wheel side to side a few times to push snow out of the way. Lightly touch the gas and ease forward. Rock the vehicle if necessary. Shift from forward to reverse and lightly touch the gas. Myths about alcohol. Myth number 1: coffee will sober up a drinker. Fact: coffee only makes a wide awake drunk. Myth number 2: strenuous exercise will sober up a drinker. Fact: exercise makes a hot, stinky drunk. Myth number 3: cold shower will sober up a drinker. Fact: a cold shower will only make a cold, wet drunk. Myth number 4: a cold swim will sober up a drinker. Fact: a cold swim could result in a dead drunk. Continuing with the alcohol process, when ingested, approximately 5% enters the bloodstream directly through the mouth and throat tissues. 80% is absorbed through the small intestines after passing through the stomach. Alcohol distributes itself to the organs with the highest fluid content, concentrating on organs with large blood supplies like the brain and the liver. Alcohol cannot be stored in the tissue unless than 10% is eliminated by the kidneys, lungs, and skin. The liver eliminates the other 90% through the process of oxidation. The liver can eliminate approximately 1 drink per hour. This is one that we cannot emphasize enough. And that's your accident reporting. Report any incident immediately, no matter how minor, to your supervisor. Take pictures, get a police report whenever possible. Traffic safety: why is it important to keep your eyes and attention on the driving at task? Driving distractions are a leading contributor to vehicle accidents. Taking your eyes and attention off a driving task will mentally leave you blind to a driving environment. At highway speeds, 1 second distraction can permit you to travel blind for over 100 feet. Avoid inside and outside distractions to the driving task. Driving tips to live by: scan the horizon. Keep your eyes moving. Scan on and off the road. Check your mirrors frequently. Be totally aware of what's in front of you and behind you at all times. Road rage, also road violence, is the informal name for deliberately dangerous and or violent behavior under the influence of heightened violent emotion, such as anger and frustration involving an automobile in use. Causes of road rage: the environment, instructive responses or territorial defensiveness, intrusive responses. 10 useful tips when faced with road rage. Don't retaliate. Don't make eye contact with an angry driver. Before you react to anything that is done to you, please ask yourself, is getting back at that jerk worth my life? Be polite and courteous even when others are not. Always ask yourself, could the other driver have possibly made a mistake? Continuing with useful tips. If you are harassed by another driver and being followed, do not go home. Go to the nearest police department. Slow down and relax. Never underestimate other drivers' capacity for mayhem. Reduce your driving stress by allowing enough time to get where you're going. And remember that you cannot control the drivers around you, but you can control the way they affect your well-being. Be patient. The defensive driver prepares before getting behind the wheel, ensures all passengers use safety belts, obeys speed limits, considers weather conditions. The defensive driver never tailgates, eliminates distractions, and he adjusts for city, highway, or rural driving. What is the purpose of delaying your start at a traffic light that has just turned green? Well, the first 3 seconds after a light turns green are the most dangerous. Drivers facing the newly turned red light may still be trying to make the light. Remember, having a green light does not give you the right to start moving immediately. Why should you check the outside of a vehicle before putting the vehicle in motion? To ensure no objects will interfere with the movement of the vehicle. To ensure tires are in good condition. To ensure the windows are clean. To identify any unexpected body damage to the vehicle. What is meant by properly securing the driver and the goods? Means the driver is properly belted in. Passengers are wearing seat belts. Cargo properly secured so it can't move around during travel. How do our other senses, other than vision, help us in driving? Provides warning that something is not right. Smells alert you to something burning. Unusual engine sounds may indicate a mechanical problem. Your body may alert you to bad brakes or improper tire inflation by feeling the vehicle pull to the left or right when braking. Good visual driving habits. Keep your eyes moving. Check out your path of travel. Look 15 seconds ahead of your vehicle. It provides a picture of what's happening. Scan mirrors every 4 to 6 seconds. Find out what's happening behind and alongside your vehicle. Glance at the dashboard every 20 seconds. Observe speed control and warning gauges. Follow the vehicle's head no closer than 3 seconds. Allow for reaction time if needed. 4 strategies that make for a safe driver. Driver has behaviors and attitudes appropriate for the driving task. Driver follows appropriate driving behaviors. Drivers see to it that their vehicle is properly maintained and loaded and unloaded. Drivers comply with organizational policies as they relate to safe operation of a vehicle on and off the facility. Driver training. Don't get caught in an accident. Always remember you are driving in a traveling billboard. At the end of the shift, your day is over. Make sure you're parking the unit in the proper place. Do your unit check-in. Return your keys. Return and charge your phone. Recheck for any new vehicle damage. Watch for overhanging equipment, furnaces, pipes. Look for the things that help you to park your vehicle, where and how close to get. Tennis balls are there for a reason, not for just pretty looks. Tennis balls are there for a reason, not for just pretty looks. So in summary, your safety is your responsibility. Drive cautiously and carefully. Be aware of your surroundings. Watch for hazards. Remember, your patient's safety is in your hands. Equipment that you check out is also your responsibility. Use your phone only when stopped out of traffic. So thank you, and let's all be safe out there.